In this video we are going to solve this neighborhood question. To get the neighborhood of anything, okay, if you have that x is an element of maybe a plus b, okay, so the neighborhood, let me call neighborhood n is equal to just this thing the way you are seeing it. Then to get the radius or the center, to get the center is simply a plus b divided by 2. While to get the radius is b minus a over 2. Okay, as simple as that. So you need to know that. Okay, so solution. Now whenever you are given an absolute value like this, let me start from the simple one. This one, I have the absolute value of 3x from down, okay, is less than what? 12. Okay, to remove the absolute value, put the negative the other side. You will say minus 12, use the same thing now, is less than 3x, which is still less than what? 12. If you have the negative this side and the positive this side, you have removed the absolute value. So you can decide to bring them, you can decide to separate them. Okay, I can decide to separate them, or I will solve it here. Divide everybody by 3. If I divide everybody by 3, divide by 3 to have minus 12 over 3 is less than 3x over 3, which is less than what? 12 over 3. So this one divided, I have what? Minus 4 is less than x, which is less than what? 4. So how do you put the neighborhood? The neighborhood is what? Is equal to what? That x is an element of open interval of what? Minus 4 and 4. See, very simple. So how do you get the center? The center is equal to what? This is a and b. So you say minus 4 plus 4 over 2, which is what? 0 over 2, which is 0. So to get the radius is what? B first. This is 4 minus, then minus 4 all over 2, which is what? 8 over 2, which is what? 4. So that is that. Okay, so let's do, I'm solving from down. So I have the absolute value of x is less than or equal to 6. How do you remove absolute value? Put negative the other side. Minus 6 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to what? 6. As simple as that. So the neighborhood is equal to what? That x is an element of what? Is it open or closed? Because of the equal to closed interval of what? Minus 6 and what? 6. This is the neighborhood. So the center is simply add a plus b, minus 6 plus 6 over what? 2, which is what? 0 over 2, which is what? 2. And the radius is what? B first before a. B, which is 6 minus 6 over what? 2, which is what? 12 over 2, which is what? 6. Okay, so that is that. Then let's do the next one. Okay, so let me now start from number 1. So I've done this and this. So from number 1, I'm now having that what? The absolute value of x minus 4 is less than or equal to 6. So let's go. So separate it to have what? Minus 6 is less than or equal to x minus 4, okay, which is less than or equal to what? 6. You see the way I remove the absolute value. Let me remove this thing I put. So once you put the negative of the right hand side, the other side, you have removed the absolute value. So add, this is minus 4. When it crosses to become plus 4, so add plus 4 to every side. So I have what? Minus 6 plus 4 is less than or equal to x minus 4 plus 4 is less than or equal to 6 plus 4. So what are you having here? This and this will give you what? Minus 2 is less than or equal to x standing alone, which is less than or equal to what? 10. So what are you having that the neighborhood is? The neighborhood is equal to what? That x is an element of what? Closed interval of minus 2 and 10. So that is the neighborhood. So what about the center and the radius? The center is simply a plus b over 2. So which is what? Minus 2 plus 10 over 2, which is what? 8 over 2, which is 4. Why the radius? The radius is simply b first before a. So b minus a. So this is a and b. So I have what? 10 minus 2 over 2, which is what? 12 over 2, which is 6. So that is that. I hope that is simple. Okay, so I can clean the board. Okay, sorry, the neighborhood is always an open interval. Please, your neighbor is always open to your house. Anytime your neighbor knocks, okay, you open the house for your neighbor. Sorry, please, neighborhood is always an open interval, even if you got your answer as closed. So your neighborhood must be an open interval. Please help me correct the former one, the two I for this one. Okay, the neighborhood of this one must be an open interval, please. Even if your answer is closed, the neighborhood is an open interval. So I used to remember it from that your neighbor, whenever your neighbor knocks, you must open your room for your neighbor. So that is why neighborhood is an open interval, please. Please. Don't forget that. So the next one is what? I. We have that x plus 10 is less than or equal to what? 13. Is that the one I solved now? Okay, no. So what do we have now? To remove this, I'm having minus 13 is less than or equal to x plus 10, which is less than or equal to 13. So collect, I'm having minus 13 minus 10 is less than or equal to what? X, which is less than or equal to what? 13 minus x minus 10, sorry. This one will go here and equally go here. So this and this will give you minus 23 is less than or equal to what? X, which is less than or equal to 3. So the neighborhood is equal to what? X, which is an element of what? It must be an open interval. Minus 23, comma 3. Okay? So why the center? The center is equal to a plus b over 3. So which is what? Minus 23 plus 3 over 2, which is what? Minus 20 over 2, which is what? Minus 10. So the radius is equal to what? B first before a. This is a and b. So I will say 3 minus 23 all over 2, which is what? 26 over 2, which is what? 13. So that is that. Please, neighborhood is always an open interval. Neighborhood is always an open interval, please. Okay, so the next one, this one now, I. So I'm having absolute value of 2x plus 9 is less than 25. So what do you have now? Minus 25 is less than 2x plus 9, which is less than 25. Okay, so what are you having now? Minus 25 minus 9 is less than 2x, which is less than 25 minus 9. So take the minus 9 to this side, take the plus 9 to this side to become minus 9, take it to the other side to become minus 9. So what do we have now? We now have that this and this will give you minus 34 is less than 2x, which is less than I think 16, right? 16, yes. So therefore, divide everybody by 2 to have minus 34 by 2 is less than x, which is less than what? 16 by 2. So what do we have now? What do we have? We are now having that 17 minus 17 is less than x, which is less than 8. So the neighborhood is this one is already an open interval. So the neighborhood is what? X, which is an element of what? 17 and 8. So the center is equal to what? A plus b minus 17 plus 8 divided by 2, which is what? I think 9. Yeah, minus 9 over 2. So the radius is what? B before a. So this is a and b. So I have what? 8 minus 17 all over 2, which is what? 25, right? So I have 25 over 2. So that is that. So the next one, I think second to the last one. Okay. So this one says this one said 1 over 2x 1 over 3x minus 1 absolute value is less than what? 3. So what do we have now? That minus 3 is less than 1 over 3x minus 1, which is less than what? 3. The 1 can cross first to have what? Minus 3 plus 1 is less than 1 over 3x, which is less than what? If I 1 over 3x can be written x over 3. So which is less than what? 3 plus 1. So this and this will give you what? These two will give you minus 2 is less than x over 3, which is less than what? 4. So multiply everybody by 3 to have what? Minus 6 is less than x, which is less than what? 12. So the neighborhood is equal to what? X, which is an element of an open interval of minus 6 and what? 12. Okay. So the center now, the center is equal to, this is A and B, minus 6 plus 12 all over 2, which is what? 6 over 2, which is 3. Then the radius, B first before A, so I have what? 12 minus 6 all over 2, which is equal to what? 18 over 2, which is equal to what? 9. So that is that. So this last one now, solve it as an assignment and tell me what you got as the answer in the comment section. Okay. So the next one we'll look at neighborhood of a quadratic equation or quadratic expression. So this one is a neighborhood of linear expression. Very simple. So where we'll have a little challenge is neighborhood of a quadratic expression. So the first one we're going to say A is we are to obtain the neighborhood, the center and the radius of x squared minus 9, which is less than what? 16. Okay. So solving this, our normal method. Okay, let me write all of them. Okay, let me write one after the other. So solving this normal method should be what? Minus 16 is less than what? X squared minus 9, which is less than what? 16. So what do we have now? In fact, in this one, don't solve it direct, bring them out separately. Bring these two out. Minus 16 is less than what? S squared minus 9. Leave it one side. Or bring out the other side. S squared minus 9 is less than what? 16. So what do we have now? This one can go here to have the what? Minus 16 plus 9 is less than x squared. So, or this one can go here. X squared is less than what? 16 plus 9. So what are we having now? This one is giving me, I think, 7. So 7 is less than x squared, or x squared is less than 25. So this one is giving me that what? That x, you know that if you say that x is less than this, if you want to write x first, the sign will still be pointing where it is pointing. So the sign is pointing 7, so you still make the sign to be pointing that 7. Okay. So because you don't go and make mistakes, so I'm having that x squared should be greater than, sorry, x will now be greater than the square root of 7 plus or minus. Yes. So I'm having, sorry, minus here, sorry, this and this will give you minus 7. So I'm having minus 7. Good. So now if you look at this, this is a complex number, and the answer we are looking for, our neighborhood, is in the real part. So this one is not the answer at all because it has given me complex. So what I'm focusing here is here. So I'm having that s is less than the square root plus or minus of what? 25. So I'm having that what? That x is less than what? Plus or minus 5. So that is that. Okay. So how do we put it now? To put it now is going to be that minus 5 is less than x, which is less than what? 5. Okay, because x is less than 5, and so that is that. In fact, on a normal, we are not supposed to solve this way. Let me show you how we are supposed to solve it on a normal. Okay, on a normal we are supposed to solve it. Let me show you the way we are supposed to. I'm just solving this way for you to understand. But on a normal, we are supposed to solve it this way. We are supposed to solve it as let me show you. X minus 9, x squared minus 9 is less than what? It's less than. Sorry, I'm having 16 less than this, which is less than what? 16. Okay, so look at how we are supposed to solve it. This one, let's have 16 is less than x squared minus 9. Okay, and x squared minus 9 is less than what? 16. This one will come here, please. This one will come here. So I'm having that what? That 0 is less than what? S squared minus 9. This one coming, I'm having plus 16. Okay, are you getting it now? So this one now is going, I'm going to have that what? X squared minus 9 minus 16 is less than 0. So what are we having? If I want to, these two will give me 0 is less than x squared plus 7. So I'm having here that or x squared minus 25 is less than what? 0. So always put them in how do I put it? We want to get difference of two squares. We want to get difference of two squared here. So I'm going to have 0 is less than x squared minus, I think, minus 7. Is it? Is there anything that will make this one will be complex? The only thing that will make this difference of two squares is by bringing complex here. I squared. Are you getting it now? Because I squared will give you minus 1. Minus 1 times this. That is the only thing that will make here plus. But look at this one. This one will be x squared minus 5 squared is less than 0. I hope you are seeing it now. So since this one is giving me complex, it will not work. So what I'm having is what? That x minus 5 and what? X plus 5 is what? Is less than 0. So now, the only thing that can make the product of two things being less than 0 means that one of them is less than 0, not two of them. It means that both of them are of opposite signs. That is the meaning. Are you getting me? It means that both of them are of opposite signs. So I can say that it's either that x minus 5 is less than 0 and x plus 5 is greater than 0. Or you say that x plus 5 is the one that is less than 0. Or x minus 5 is greater than 0. Because for two things, for the product of two things to be less than 0 means that they are negative. Less than 0 means that they are negative. Okay, and the only thing that the product of two things being negative means that one is negative and the other one is positive. So that is why, but we don't know the one. That is why we have 4 answers like this. So I can say that x is now less than 5, or x is what? Is greater than minus 5. But okay, but look at this one. For this one, I'll have that what? X is less than 5, okay, or x is what? Is greater than 5. Okay, so let us analyze this. We said that that x is less than 5, and we're not saying minus 5, and we're not saying that the same x that is less than minus 5 is greater than 5. So it's not possible. So the only possible answer is the first one. The only possible answer is the first one. Look at it, analyze it yourself. X is less than 5 and x is greater than minus 5 is correct. If x is greater than minus 5, it means that x can be 4, x can be minus 1, x can be 0, and those things are still less than 5. But for here, you say that x is less than minus 5. If x is less than minus 5, we're having either minus 6, minus 7, minus 8, and those things can never be greater than 5. So the only answer we have is this. So from this now, we should now have that our neighborhood is now equal to what? X, which is an element of what? Minus 5 and 5. So that is our neighborhood. So this one will not work. This one now will not work. This is the one that will work. Okay, so then the center, remember that the center is what? This is a and b. So a plus b minus 5 plus 5 over 0 over what? 2, which is what? 0 over 2, which is what? 0. So the radius is b first, 5 minus 5 all over 2, which is what? 10 over 2, which is 5. So the radius is 5. Okay, so that is that. I think we are going to stop here for this. Then in our next class we will now have we'll now talk about other things. Then we'll talk about the limit itself. Thank you very much for watching. God bless you.